The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to the SDH Network. We're always around the corner from everywhere, and welcome to the Morning Espresso, which is brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. We've got Champions League knockout tension back on the menu. We've got a long-term commitment being reported in Turin, a strategic pause in South Georgia, and MLS setting records, changes to laws of the game that could reshape tempo, all kinds of stuff. Global pressure, local recalibration. Let's get into it. Let's start with the Champions League. The knockout round playoffs conclude this week. By Friday, we will have a full round of 16 bracket set. This phase is wasted. No time, no easing in, no feeling out period. We've got some interesting second legs this week. The headline tie is Real Madrid hosting Benfica, with Madrid holding a 1-0 aggregate lead. The soccer is only part of the story, though. Vinicius Jr. alleged racial abuse in the first leg from Benfica winger Gianluca Prestiani. UEFA yesterday morning announced that they have provisionally suspended Prestiani for one match while the investigation continues. That is immediate. He will not play in this match. But here's the added wrinkle. Benfica still traveled with him to Madrid. It's a visible show of support while they prepare an appeal. He won't be on the field, but with the squad, that adds a lot of tension, and I think it is, while you can say it's that show of support, it also feels like a little bit of provocation. Jose Mourinho, he is also banned after his red card in Lisbon. He won't be speaking publicly around the match either. Meanwhile, several Madrid players have reportedly submitted signed statements to UEFA backing Vinicius. So, yeah, it's 1-0 on aggregate, but the context is a little bit heavier than the scoreline, and we'll see how it all plays out in the Santiago Bernabeu. Elsewhere, the Italian clubs are wobbling. Inter, they trail 3-1 to Bodo Glimt. They will get the Norwegians at the San Siro in the second leg. Juventus, they have a 3-goal deficit to overcome against Galatasaray. Atalanta, they are down 2 to Borussia Dortmund. Tough times for the Italian clubs. We'll see how they handle the second legs. Newcastle, they look comfortable after a 6-1 win over Karabag. Bayer Leverkusen are in control. PSG, they hold a narrow edge over Monaco. Atleti, they come back into Spain with a 3-3 first leg at scoreline on the books. We'll see how the aggregate finishes out as they host Club Brugge. The knockout stage, it's doing what it always does. It exposes these margins between clubs very quickly, and it exposes the little things in these 180 minutes that can decide it. Going to be fascinating second leg starting today. You can watch all of it on Paramount+. All right, let's go to, I don't know if it's like a meeting room or what, a conference room somewhere. Football's lawmakers, they are expected to approve visible 5-second countdowns for throw-ins and goal kicks. Referees would whistle, signal a countdown, and if the restart isn't taken in 5 seconds, the possession would flip. Delay a goal kick, that would mean a corner instead. This builds on the 8-second goalkeeper rule that used to be 6 seconds but wasn't actually called. Now it's 8 seconds and it is called. That's been trialed this season. That has been viewed internally as a success. There's more. A standardized 1-minute treatment window for injured players who stop play, that is also likely coming. Major League Soccer is already operating with a 1-minute window this season after previously using 2-minute windows in MLS Next Pro and in MLS. There's also discussion of a 10-second substitution limit, with teams potentially playing short if they exceed it. We already have that in Major League Soccer as well. See, look, folks around the world, Major League Soccer ahead of the curve on these things, trying to speed up the game. Just saying, maybe you should open your minds a little bit to what's happening over here. We know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. We've got some ideas here that you might want to listen to. The whole goal of this, it's tempo control, and it's reducing these massive stoppage time totals that have frustrated players and broadcasters in recent tournaments. Small wording tweaks, potentially big flow changes. Let's go to Turin. Weston McKennie, he appears set to extend with Juventus through 2030. His current deal runs through the end of this season, but reports out of Italy say an agreement is in place. He'll reportedly earn around €4 million per season with incremental increases. Stability for him, stability for Juventus. They're trying to lock in core pieces. McKennie's versatility makes him tactically valuable. He's also performed at a very, very high level right now for Luciano Spalletti, who's a big fan of his. The announcement is expected after Juve finish a busy stretch, including Champions League and Serie A fixtures. For McKennie, it's validation after a lot of stops and starts and ups and downs during his time with the club. For Juve, it's long-term structure and stability, and I think it gives him a lot of confidence going into the World Cup this summer for the U.S. men's national team. All right, let's go to Statesboro. South Georgia Tormenta, they will not compete in the 2026 USL League One season. It's not a shutdown. The front office and technical staff will remain in place. The academy remains active. The players under contract are now free agents and can sign anywhere in the league. They have a 3-month severance that they will get as part of the collective bargaining agreement. There were conversations about doing different things, and USL clubs decided not to. The USL Players Association is frustrated with that. Players are frustrated everywhere, which I understand. But the distinction matters, in my opinion, that they are keeping front office and technical staff in place in Statesboro, because that means there's a chance for the club to come back. I don't know what players would want in the situation, just the club to completely go away. Then that's a loss of jobs, period. Nobody's getting rich in this situation and hiding money. That's the underlying element here that has to be understood. It's not that there is a secret bucket of money that is being hidden away. This is expensive to do what Darren Van Tassel and South Georgia Tormenta have done, launching a club, coming into their 10th year, building a stadium, building infrastructure, building an academy, building community programs. All of it is very expensive. USL League One, travel costs are not cheap in that league, and it has not grown all that quickly. So you've got long trips that you have to deal with in that league. There are a lot of costs that you don't know about. The good thing is there is a chance to come back by keeping people in place. Clubs that dissolve the infrastructure are not coming back. They're stepping away. Clubs that retain leadership are positioning themselves for a potential return. That is a good thing in the long run. Yes, it is absolutely a bad thing in the short term. The timing is bad. It is frustrating that this happens when it does. And we've seen this happen around American soccer for a long time. We don't see it happen very often now, which is a good thing. Tormenta delivered a League One title in 2022. They've built a development model. Indiana Vasilev came through their early academy days. The philosophy appears intact. This feels like a recalibration, not a retreat. We are going to be covering this on the SDH network. We hope to speak to folks down in Statesboro very, very soon. They have talked about more announcements to come as more things fall into place. From what we have done covering South Georgia Tormenta over the last 10 years, I can only speak to the commitment that the ownership and everybody that we've ever encountered that has worked with South Georgia Tormenta, the commitment that they have had to the game, to the people that are involved in it. This was not a decision that was taken lightly, and this is not, again, a closure, in my opinion. This feels like a recalibration for what the next chapter of South Georgia Tormenta will be. I mean, they are building a stadium. They're going to want to have something in it. These are things that are real conversations. So we will see. We will be covering it all the way through. Make sure you're following us at Soccer Down here for more from Statesboro. Let's go domestic focus now. ESPN, they are working on a 3-part docuseries called the NWSL The Final Third. It revisits the 2025 season through the lenses of the Washington Spirit, Kansas City Current, and Angel City FC. You got Trinity Rodman coming back. You got Kansas City record-setting dominance in the regular season, then playoff failure, Angel City's transition era. 3 distinct competitive arcs. Episodes will stream starting tomorrow on ESPN+. They will air March 2nd on ESPN2, and they will also be available on Disney+. Orlando City, they are reportedly in advanced discussions regarding Antoine Griezmann as they look to fill their open designated player slot. Orlando have its discovery rights. They've got the priority. No formal agreement in place. Other MLS clubs are reportedly interested. Griezmann is still very important with Atletico Madrid. They are still in Copa del Rey, European season ongoing. They're still in Champions League as well. It's going to be hard to get it done before the end of the current MLS incoming window. Probably going to happen in the summer if it happens. MLS, they opened their season with a record 387,000 plus fans across 15 matches, highest attendance for any weekend in league history. Headline figure 75,000 plus at the LA Memorial Coliseum for LAFC's 3-0 win over Inter Miami. Sellouts in Austin, Cincinnati, and St. Louis reinforced strong early season momentum as well. Nashville, second leg tonight in Concacaf, 2-0 lead against Atletico Ottawa. They controlled the first meeting. Sam Surridge has been very good. He just got an extension with Nashville. Their broader attacking depth continues to show as well. If they advance, they will face Miami in the round of 16. LAFC, they are 6-1 up over Real España. Denny Boanga's hat trick in the first leg. They should be fine. If they advance, they will play Alajuelense in the next round from Costa Rica. Former Atlanta Chiefs player Alec Papadakis, CEO of the USL, he received the Werner Fricker Builder Award, U.S. Soccer's highest honor. Papadakis has led the USL since 2009. He's overseen its expansion, its structural evolution across professional and pre-professional tiers. That was at the U.S. Soccer AGM, which was here in Atlanta over the weekend. Also at the AGM, former Chicago Fire and U.S. men's national team defender C.J. Brown was named this year's Carla Overbeck Leadership Award winner. Through the C.J. Brown Foundation, he works with black and brown youth in under-resourced Chicago neighborhoods, extending his impact beyond the pitch. He does great work with his foundation, C.J. Really excited that he was honored for his work in the community. All right, around the corner, SDH AM kicks off at 9:05 this morning. John Nelson at the controls. Going to talk Tormenta, going to talk all of these different things, a lot of Champions League as well. Gabriel Schrei, he will join to talk about USL League One and Tormenta. Casey White from Apple TV, she drops in to break down Week 1 and MLS, some early trends, also anything else that is on Casey's mind as she works in a variety of leagues. But you can catch her on Apple TV a lot this season for MLS. 9:05 on the SDH Network, YouTube, and Twitch, and you can catch it as a podcast later if you miss it. All right, let's go to some Red Clay soccer report. Atlanta United 2, they have bolstered their squad with the signing of Didi Cibrian to an MLS Next Pro contract. Depth and versatility in the midfield ahead of the season. Became a regular in the second half of last season. Really solid midfielder. Really impressive. He's also broken into the El Salvador Youth National Team program. Future homegrown deal in MLS as well. Was really excited to see Cibrian break in and then be able to hang at the MLS Next Pro level at the level that he did. I thought he was very good for an Atlanta United 2 side that pushed for the playoffs last year. Tonight, high school soccer, key matchup on the south side of town. Northgate traveling to face Stars Mill in Fayette County. Girls kick off at 6, boys kick off at 8. John Nelson and Drew Dickinson will be on the call for you there. You can listen soccerdownhere.net/listen. And then after that's done, you can tune in for Atlanta Soccer tonight live on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app after Hawks basketball, likely beginning around 10:30 p.m. Madison Cruz will be co-hosting with me. We'll talk Atlanta United from Cincinnati. We'll look ahead to San Jose. We'll talk some more Didi Cibrian. We'll talk about everything going on in the game. About 10:30 start time. Make sure you're following me at Longshoe on social media, and I'll let you know what that's looking like. All right, the refill, news from around the world as we wrap up. Marcelo Gallardo, he will coach his final match for River Plate on Thursday. He is leaving by mutual consent after a disappointing second spell with the club. He won the Libertadores as a player and a coach. He returned for a second spell, did not add to his trophy case. Uneven results, mounting institutional tension, really some poor performances as of late. His match on Thursday against Banfield will be a symbolic goodbye. Moise Kean, he scored for the third straight match to push Fiorentina to a 1-0 win over Pisa. Fiorentina is now out of the relegation zone in Serie A. They are in 16th place, level on points with Cremonese and Lecce, but ahead on goal difference. Pisa entrenched near the bottom, 12 matches left. Going to be hard for them to get out of it. We'll go back to Argentina. The Argentine Football Association facing renewed scrutiny as First Division clubs requested the suspension of matches next month in protest of a criminal investigation into federation leadership. President Claudio Tapia and Treasurer Pablo Tovigino are reportedly under investigation related to alleged financial irregularities, though the AFA denies outstanding tax obligations. That's been reported in a very, very high number. We will see what this looks like, but you've got a lot of instability right now in Argentine football ahead of a major international cycle in a World Cup. Got to get resolved, and I don't know if it's going to get resolved very quickly. Also, some instability in Scotland. The Scottish Premiership is poised to lose its second Champions League berth beginning next season due to sustained underperformance in UEFA competition. The league champion will now face 3 qualifying rounds to reach the league phase. Runners-up drop into earlier qualifying paths for lower-tier competitions. For clubs like Celtic and Rangers, the financial and competitive ramifications could be significant. It's a year where you've got a lot of competition at the top of the table in Scotland, which is great, but the poor performances in Europe have now come home to bear, and it's massive because you've got to perform better in Europe, and these clubs absolutely have not. And it goes back to the conversations we've had around Celtic of they're able to dominate in Scotland because they can just out-talent people typically, although they're struggling to do that right now even. But you've got to have more ambitions in Europe. And when you've had leadership say basically, well, we just can't compete, well, this is what happens. And now you're going to lose money. And now what does it look like? Because you're going to lose those rounds, those games. You're going to have effects from this. What does this look like? I don't know. We're all going to find out. Mexico tickets for their match with Iceland are sold out in Querétaro for tomorrow night. This is a game outside of the FIFA windows, so mostly local players in Mexico that are playing from Liga MX. Local authorities are implementing heightened security measures around the stadium to ensure a safe environment for supporters for both teams amid broader safety concerns in the region. And there's been lots of talk about the region in Mexico and lots of conflicting reports. So stay tuned on all of that. This is a big part of preparing for the FIFA Interconfederational World Cup playoffs that are going to be in Guadalajara at the end of March. Also, obviously, the World Cup this summer. Also, the day-to-day of Liga MX and Liga MX Femenil. So keep an eye on all of this, but also make sure you're following substantiated reports, because there have been some that are not, and they've made their way around. So just be careful on your sourcing on everything. And that's a universal conversation, but in this case specifically, yes, be careful about your sourcing. All right, final whistle, Champions League tension, tempo changes coming to the laws of the game, MLS attendance surging, roster picture sharpening across North America and beyond. Sad news in Statesboro, good news in Turin. We've got games happening everywhere right now. We have tons to talk about. 9:05 this morning, SDH AM on YouTube and Twitch with John. Tonight, 10:30-ish p.m. on 92.9 The Game and Odyssey with myself and Madison, Atlanta Soccer Tonight. We'll be talking to you all day long on the SDH Network, and I'll be back tomorrow with a little more morning espresso for you.